Hey, what is going on, everybody? It's your girl Melrose. So I wanted to do a quick video today where I'm talking about the real minimum cost. Like seriously, the actual real, like what is it costing you? We know what the minimum cost is, but what's it costing you if you only pay the minimum payment on your credit card. So what I want to do is right now when people come on, because sometimes Facebook doesn't let me see that there's people watching live. So do me a favor. I can always see the comments, okay? So do me a favor. Click a 1 if you are watching this live. All right? Click a 1 if you're watching this live. And if you're catching this on the replay, click a 2 just so I know what's going on. Give me a second because I want to share this out to different things like my groups and my pages and stuff like that. So just give me a second. Do me a favor once again. If you're watching this live, give me a 1. If you're watching the replay, give me a 2. Everybody let me know where you're watching this from. I want to know if you're in my hometown or maybe it's somebody that I met when I was somewhere else. Just kind of let me know where you're watching from too, okay? So 1, if you're watching it live. 2, if it's a replay. And then put in your city and state, okay? So I'm going to go ahead. Give me a second. Bear with me while I get this out to my groups and pages and things like that. All right, guys. So don't forget, give me that 1 if you're watching the live because sometimes I cannot see. And actually, what I'm going to do is go on my page here so I can hopefully see some of the comments. And if I see them on my phone, then I will go ahead and answer some of those comments live. But if not, I'll hit you guys back when I go back through because I like to answer everyone. Okay, so listen, here we go. Are you guys ready for this? Now keep in mind, listen, every video I watch of other people and every video I do in different groups and in my fan pages and stuff like that, there's always that 1 or 2 people that come in and like, oh, I know this and this and that. That's cool. If you don't know it, you are more than welcome to stay here and watch. But if you're going to be negative or whatever, you're more than welcome to go ahead and leave because sometimes this stuff seems easy to other people, right? Or simple to other people. But there's a lot of people that don't get this type of stuff because if they did, we wouldn't have like 80 or more % of Americans in debt and that continue to do this stuff. Okay. So let everyone learn and let everyone see it. And some people know this stuff like, well, I know that, it's a lot of interest, but you don't know the exact amount. Okay. So that is the purpose of this video. So let's just get straight to it. All right. All right, guys. So we're talking about credit, right? We're talking about credit card debt. So you owe $5,000 on your credit card. You may only have a $5,000 limit. You may have a $10,000 limit. I'm not just saying this does not apply to only people that are maxed out. Okay. This applies to people, period, that have a $5,000 limit in this example that I have created here. Okay. And I don't think it's far fetched. I think a lot of people have a $5,000 limit on at least one credit card. There's plenty of people that have this amount on several credit cards, but in this example, we're only going with one. Okay, so $5,000 debt, $5,000 debt that you have on this credit card. Okay, so you get your credit card statement, and there's a minimum payment, and you pay that minimum payment. But let's talk about how they come up with that minimum payment. A lot of people do not know this, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to show you your balance times 3%. And why did I choose 3%? Not just because I like the number 3, which I actually do, but because that is the average. Most credit cards use 3%. There are some that do less, and there are some that do more. You will always find out that Mel from Stunning Income Profits, the real marketer, likes to use, I don't like to go to like really the highest, I like to show you kind of like the average of what's really going on out there, right? So we're going to use 3%. 3% of the balance, 3% of the money that you owe is that's what they do. That is your minimum payment. So, and by all means, I'll take a second. Matter of fact, I only have to take a second because you can watch this on the replay and you can press pause and you can do the math. Everything that I show you here, do the math and you'll see that it works out. So 3%, right, of 5,000. Okay, you got it? 3% of 5,000. And remember, we learned this in high school. Okay, 3%, to turn the percentage into a decimal, you're going to move that percentage sign over to the left and it's going to become 0.03. Okay, and that answer is $150. So that's your minimum payment. So now you know. They didn't just like the number 150. They didn't just throw it out there. They did some math, okay? And they more than likely they let you know in your documents how they were going to come up with this number, okay? So it's 150. So you're going to pay 150 at least this month right now. That's what your minimum payment is while you owe $5,000. Now, what's your interest rate? There's no math to do. When you signed up for that credit card, you accepted the terms and they sent you a packet and it was probably 6, 7, 8, however many pages, and you probably just threw it away because you needed the credit card more than likely. And I'm being nice by saying needed. You wanted the credit card and you got it. But whatever, we'll go back to what people like to say. You needed the credit card for emergency purposes, right? Okay, that's what we'll go with. So you wanted or needed the credit card for emergency purposes, and they told you that the interest was going to be 23%, and you said whatever it is, what it is. As long as I'm approved, and you were approved. So that is that. There's no math to do there. Now, this is the part that people forget about or don't know about, because what you're thinking of is simple interest. You're thinking simple interest. Me as your friend says, okay, you want to borrow $100. All right, cool. You borrow $100. You give me $100 when you get paid. We're even. That's 0% interest as a friend. Simple interest. But I can be an associate who says, all right, I'll give it to you. But guess what? You give me $100 and I want $123 back. So that's $23, right? 23% interest. So, but that's still simple interest because you're going to give it back to me next time you get paid, next 2 weeks. Maybe it's a month from now, whatever terms we came up with. That's just simple interest. But that's not what the credit cards are doing, okay? It's not simple interest. It's compound interest. So since it's compound interest, we have to figure it out. So how do we figure it out? The interest rate, the 23% divided by 12, and we get 12 because there's 12 months in a year, right? So that's what we're going to do. The interest rate divided by 12, 23% divided by 12 months in a year is 1.92%. That is your monthly rate, which is getting compounded every single day. Okay? Every single day. Let's go to the next one. Now let's figure out what is the interest payment. The interest payment is the balance, the money you owe, times the monthly rate. Okay? That's $5,000 because it is the money you owe times the monthly rate of 1.92%. Once again, we're going back to high school. We're turning that percentage into a decimal, which is 0.0192. So 5,000 times 0.0192 is $96, guys. $96. So I'm going to, let me just move this over here. I'm going to pause for the dramatic effect. Why? Because out of $150 that you are paying every single month, 96 of those dollars are going towards interest. So just to break it down, I'm going to keep going and hopefully it get, even more clear to you. But I just want to explain, like, basically interest means this. Let me tell you, like, no one likes this definition, but the truth is, what does interest really mean? Interest means you want some ish that you cannot afford. So I'm going to give you the money so that you can have it now, but you're going to pay me a crap load more so that you can get in advance what you can't afford now. Because if you can afford it, like, people don't like to hear it, but it's the truth. If you can afford it, then you wouldn't need the credit card. I mean, it's a very rare, and don't get me wrong, those people watching this like, oh, I want to use the credit card for, trust me, I have my reasons for using the credit card, and I understand you can use the credit card for all of the rewards and all that type of stuff, and you pay it off at the end of the month. And if you're that person, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the people that hold balances, that pay the minimum, that don't know these numbers. These are the people that I'm talking to. I'm trying to show them what they don't know. If you know, that's amazing. That's awesome. You're great. Okay. Now, $96 out of that $150 is in interest. That's the fee. That's the punishment. That's the penalty. That's the whatever word you want to call it. But what that means is we are friends and you say, hey, Mel, hey, Butter, let me borrow $5. And I say, awesome, no problem. You can have $5 and I'll give it back to you in League next week. Okay, cool. But guess what? When I come to League next week, I don't want just the 5. If you give me 6, then we'll be good, right? It's going to be $1. I want $1 every week until you pay off that 5. So then the next week we come to League. So that first week you didn't have the whole thing. So you came to me, maybe you had nothing. We're friends, so I don't let you make you even pay on a principal. I just want my interest. So that next week you give me $1, but you still owe me the 5. And then the following week I say, okay, cool. You got the 5 and you like, no. Guess what? I still want my $1. I want that interest because that's how I make money. The principal, I gave it to you. I let you borrow it for whatever reason you need it. But I'm the bank. I make money on that interest. You're going to give me that interest. You might not have a 5 right now because guess what? I won't even hassle you. I won't even haggle you for the 5 because as long as you owe me the 5, I'm going to keep getting that 1. So we both for 36 weeks. So you might be thinking in your mind, yo, Butter crazy. Every time I see her, this fool only make me give her $1 and I owe her 5. $1 ain't nothing. I'm going to give it to her. Cool. At the end of our League, if you borrowed that from me on the first night of League and you only give me $1 for 36 weeks, yeah, you still owe me 5, but you just gave me 36. At the end of the League, I got $36. But you still owe me 5. And so it's going to keep going. This is what's happening with the banks. Okay. So the principal payment, what's that? What I just explained, an example with the bowling. The minimum payment minus the interest payment. So that's $150, the minimum payment, minus the interest payment. That is your principal payment. So in this example, you're paying $54 towards your principal. So check this out. You're paying $150, but 96 of it is going towards what you owe the bank, the credit card. And only 96 is going towards the interest payment, what you owe the bank. But only 54 is going towards the principal payment. So what does this all mean, guys? Like, at the end of the day, how much are you paying? I think I explained it with all my examples and everything. But let me just show you. Let me break it down even further. So if you only pay the minimum payment, which I left it blank because it's going to vary. A lot of people, do videos like this and don't explain that. You know, if you do pay the minimum payment, it's not great, it's not amazing, but at some point, you know, it does go down. Even if it's only $2-3, it does go down. So I didn't want to just throw a number in there, so I left it blank because it will go down. But for time purposes, I didn't want to do 265 slides because I can do 265 slides and literally show you what your last payment would be on the 265th month. But for time purposes, we didn't do that. But you can, just so you know. So 265 months, if you only did the minimum payment of what the bank tells you and what they send you on your statement, 265 months divided by 12, because it's 12 months in a year, 22 years. Let's put this in perspective. If you're 40 years old and you apply for a credit card because you love your family and ain't nobody going to let, you know, you ain't going to let your family not enjoy Christmas or whatever holidays coming up. So I'm going to apply for this credit card. I'm going to get this credit card, or I already have one, and I'm going to run it up because whatever, let's say Black Friday is coming. I'm going to spend this money because I want to show my family how much I love them. So I'm going to run up $5,000 that I don't have. I do have the minimum pay. I got 150. That ain't nothing. I have 100. I have 75. Whatever the minimum. I have that, but I don't have the 5,000 up front. So I'm putting a credit card. Just so you know, you're doing your family and yourself an injustice by doing that, because Christmas and all that stuff and birthdays and stuff don't matter because the debt that you're putting yourself into. Because if you do that today at 40 years old, you're not going, and you only pay the minimum payment, you're not going to have it paid off until you're 62. At 40 years old, you're still going to be paying off this debt until you're 62 if you only pay the minimum payment. What about your retirement? What about all the other things and dreams and hopes and aspirations that you have? What about sending your kids to college? What about all these other things? But you worried about Christmas today? No. Hopefully, now that you see this video, you have a different mindset. Hopefully you shifted your mindset. And looking at this, $8,266 in interest. But you can't forget about the principal. That's how much you charged. So $8,266 plus the $5,000 that you charged, $13,266. But guess what? You say, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be slick. I'm going to be smarter than that. I'm not going to just, I pay $150 for 4 months. My minimum payment's going to go down. But even though my minimum payment goes down, I'm going to keep paying $150. I'm going to pay $150 for the life of this debt. That's called a fixed payment. Guess what? It's amazing. It's so much better. You see the numbers. It's so much better than paying the minimum. So kudos to you that do that. That's awesome. But still, look at the numbers. If you did a fixed payment of $150, it would still take you 54 months to pay it. 4.5 years. So let's just round it up to 5. Matter of fact, let's be nice and round it down to 4. So if you're 40 years old and again, somebody's birthday's coming up, Black Friday's coming up, whatever, you decide to run up your credit card for $5,000. You're 40 years old and you pay, all these examples are the same, 23% interest, you run it up to $5,000. All those examples are the same. It's going to take you 4 years. I'll be nice and I'll round down, even though we know from what? Grammar school, elementary school, that you round up when it's 4.5, but we're going to round down. So you're 40 years old. You won't have this debt paid off until you're 44. Don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on the person that does this because it's so much better than 22 years. So if you can afford the fixed $150 and you're in this situation, by all means do it. But I just want to show you, even though you do that, you still are paying $3,048 in interest. That's a lot of money, because you still have to add the 5,000 that you ran up. So that's $8,048. Tell me it's not better to just buy what you can afford. But guess what? You cannot undo, because all the Captain Obvious out there that'll comment and say things that we all know. Yeah. But the point is, there are people that are already in this situation that have already done this. So instead of just bringing up problems, we like to bring up solutions at Stunna Income Profits. So what are the solutions? What can we do? We can first shift our minds. Then we can learn to shift our incomes, learn about the snowball effect and what we can do, right? We can learn about how to get more money without going back to school and creating another debt. We can learn about how to get more money without going to get another job. So that just brings me to the next slide. We can learn about these things and so much more by joining the group. I do videos like this. I'm in there often. I'm answering questions. If you like what you just heard, if you understand, or if you don't understand but you need more information, please join this group. It's a free Facebook group where I'm giving out free information. Join that group. Have a look around. Interact with other members. Contact me. And we'll talk about how we can go to the next step and the next level. And we can get out of debt that we've created. We can stop creating more debt. And we can build a community where asking each other questions, getting feedback. Well, what's your thoughts on this? And how'd you do this? And that's what it's about. That's what it's about, because so many people, just like, a lot of people don't like to talk about counseling and mental health and things like that. A lot of people don't like to talk about, finances and stuff like that. Some of this stuff, guys, listen, some of this stuff you learn from doing the wrong thing. It's nobody being on a pedestal and saying, I always knew this stuff and I always got it right. Yeah, some things, boom, from the beginning, I just knew from whatever, like people I hung out with, maybe certain people in my family or whatever. And some things I learned from trial and error. But no one's on a high horse. No one's on a pedestal. We've all made certain mistakes. So it's, how do I prevent making those mistakes? Or now that I made the mistake, how do I get out of it? Join the group. It's free. You're already on Facebook. Let me just slide this down so that you can see the full group name. Join the group. Let's get together. Let's make it do what it do. And let's learn together. Let's grow together. Let's get out of debt. Let's build a legacy. Let's teach our kids what the school systems are not teaching. Because all I know is this. I'm not saying anything against the school systems, because, listen, they're amazing. They teach our kids so much. And, we have to work together as parents and educators. But all I'm saying is, for my job, me personally, what I do, I haven't had to use the periodic chart. My life, my job, every day, right? But these are the things that we need to know that we're not learning in school. So let's get together and learn all of this stuff so that we can teach our kids, so that they can know all of this stuff up front and don't have to learn it on the back end like so many of us have done. Okay? So join the group. Hit me up. Let me know what's good. Again, don't forget, please, to give me a 1 if you're watching this live. Give me a 2 if you are watching this video as a replay. And please let me know where you're tuning in from. Last but not least, if any of this made sense, if you know somebody that needs to hear this stuff, please, it costs you nothing to click share. click share, put it on your page. You don't even have to, they give you the option to click share and type something, or they give you the option to just click share. Just click share if you don't really know what to say or you don't want to say anything. You never know who you're helping by sharing this type of information. So go ahead, click share, join the Facebook group, and I will see you on the next video. Cheers to your success. Come on in. Let's go.